Yeah.
What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to discuss NXT from May the 6th, 2025. A pretty okay show for the most part. I thoroughly enjoyed the main event. The Battle Royal was pretty cool, although I didn't like the participants. Most of them, anyway. And the main event was pretty cool, too. The main event was quite okay for television. So, we kick the show off with the first match of the night. Dark State. They defeat Joe Hendry and Hank and Tank. Towards the end of the match, Trick Williams came out, got involved. Him and Joe Hendry, they brawled into the back, and this allowed for Dark State to hit the pop-up Shield powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. Clearly, this is going to set up a match at Battleground, which is going to be Hank and Tank versus Dark State for the NXT Tag Team Championships, which is fine. I'm pretty sure Dark State is going to win that. Hank and Tank were always going to basically just be transitional champions, which makes perfect sense in my opinion. So there's that. All right, moving on. So Carmen Petrovich, she's backstage. She's talking to Thea Hale. Carmen says that the women's division is too strong for her to be let down by, to be held down by distractions. Thea understands where Carmen's coming from. Thea tells Carmen to stay strong. Jada Parker, her fine ass, shows up. Jada asks Thea, what does she know about strength, acting all grown when nothing has changed? Jada told Carmen to dump Ashanti's sorry ass 4 months ago. Jada wants to bestow some wisdom on Carmen. Ashanti was not the only thing holding her back. She's just too soft. Carmen says that Jada's running her mouth because she had a big opportunity at Stand and Deliver. Carmen thought Jada don't play, and then Jada then proceeds to challenge Carmen to a match. All right, pretty cool stuff there. I like this. It seems like both women are stuck in limbo, but I think Jada Parker is going to still get a pretty decent push, even with all the releases that just recently went down. I still think she's going to end up getting a big push. And I do think that next year, Jada Parker will be NXT Women's Champion. I'm just going to put it out there. Moving on. So Charlie Dempsey has some words for No Quarter Catch Crew before the big Battle Royal. Tonight's not about grudges or individual aspirations. It's about making sure the No Quarter Catch Crew gets one step closer to Obafemi and capturing the NXT Championship at Battleground. Charlie wants to make sure they're all on the same page, and then Ren Sinclair leads the huddle. Okay, cool. Good stuff there. Moving on. Zarya defeats Kalani Jordan. She wins via the spear outside on the barricade and then she threw Kalani back into the ring for the F5 for the 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Good shit here. I like it. I still think that they're going to end up turning Zarya heel. It makes the most sense. She's dominant as fuck. And we all can basically see that Zarya and Sol Ruka are going to split anyway. Like, that's a no-brainer. So, All right, moving on. So Wesley, he walks up to Tony D in the locker room. Wesley begins to poke fun at the Don situation. Tony says if anybody knows about stabbing a brother in the back, it's totally Wesley. Stacks did the same thing he did to Zachary Wentz. Wesley has no regrets. He would do it all over again. Wes says there's something different about the Don. He's lacking confidence. That's why he's not competing in the Battle Royal tonight. Tony says that Wesley doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He has all the talent in the world, but no instincts. Wesley wants to be a tough guy, take a shot, Wesley said that he would, but he has a battle royal to win. Okay, good stuff here. I like this. It makes sense. Now, I think Luca has been released, and if that is the case, then the D'Angelo family would have no choice but to disband. And I do not see Adriana Rizzo being a star on her own either. The only two that would be stars would be Tony D and Stax. So I assume that they're going to do Tony D and Stax at Battleground and some type of stipulation, whether it be like a last man standing or a steel cage or an I Quit match, something like that. And then when Tony D basically loses, that's when he gets called up to the main roster. And I think that I wouldn't mind seeing Stax go after Ricky Saints. I think that would be a pretty good little feud there for Ricky Saints to do. That would be some interesting shit. So, there's that. But I don't know how successful Tony D would be on the main roster, though. I mean, he's got a great gimmick, good character, and everything else. But with Triple H in charge, he's got to have the work rate. Moving on. So, Stephanie Vacker, she's backstage talking to Lola Vice. Lola Vice knows that Stephanie has a tough challenge awaiting her at Battleground. Regardless of who wins tonight's main event, Lola believes that if anyone could walk into hell and walk out NXT Women's Champion, it's Stephanie. Competing in multiple promotions couldn't have prepared Stephanie for what comes being on top of the NXT Women's division. Lola says that no matter what happens at Battleground, she'll be awaiting her opportunity on the other side. And then Julia shows up. Julia tells Stephanie that she'll see her at Battleground. So I actually like this. I really do. I think this is going to lead into Stephanie Vacker and Lola Vice sometime this year. Don't know when. The main reason I say this is because I feel like Jordynne Grace, spoiler alert, Jordynne Grace is going to end up losing to Stephanie Vacker, and I really don't think that this is going to be an actual feud. You might get maybe a second match out of it, but I think that Jordynne could probably go on the main roster and kill it on either Raw or SmackDown, especially since those divisions kind of, lost a couple people here and there. I don't know. That's just me speaking out loud, but I don't know. We really have to wait and see. Moving on, this leads us into the number one contenders battle royal. That ended up being won by Myles Borne, which was great. He got a great reaction and everything else. That was so cool. I'm glad that he won. Shawn Michaels booked this shit perfectly. Also, Elijah, a.k.a. Elias, he showed up. And he got a great reaction. The crowd chanted holy shit and everything. Like, the roof went off the PC. And I loved it. So, excellent shit there. Good stuff. The participants really didn't care too much for them. Just a bunch of low mid-card guys, LFG guys. From TNA, it was just Zachary Wentz, Ridge Holland was still there, so he's apparently still there. But Ridge Holland's been in WWE for about a good 8 years, and at some point, he needs to shit or get off the pot, and it's time for him, basically, in my opinion, to get off the pot. Not being mean, but he's been on the main roster. He was only over when he was with Sheamus and Butch Sheamus and Butch, a.k.a. Pete Dunne, as the Brawling Brutes. Outside of that, he's not been over at all. So, whatever. But Myles Borne winning was the right decision. He ended up eliminating both Sean Spears and Ethan Page. So, which was great. So, right decision here. I mean, nobody wants to see Shawn Spears win or Ethan Page. I feel that it's time for both of those guys to go up to the main roster, or maybe even form like a tag team. Maybe, I don't know. Moving on. So, Sarah Schreiber had a backstage interview with Jordynne Grace last week. Her and Julia fought out of the arena. She's going to beat Julia, but get her own long overdue one-on-one title shot at Battleground, because she has the power advantage of the entire NXT Women's division. So Izzy Dame, her tall ass shows up. She's tall and skinny. Izzy says that Jordynne may be one of the strongest superstars in the division, but she's not the biggest. And regardless of what happens tonight or at Battleground, Izzy is calling her shot for the NXT Women's Championship. So Lash Legend shows up, who's both tall and muscular. And she says that you can't talk about her. I mean, you can't talk about... hold on. So Lash knows that there's not going to be a conversation about the who's the biggest or the strongest competitor in the division without her name being mentioned. Okay, that's cool. Jordynne says she'll see Izzy and Lash on the other side at Battleground when she becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. Okay, I do like this. This is a great visual. You got skinny and tall Izzy Dame, muscular and tall Lash Legend, and stocky, short Jordynne Grace. The visual was cool as hell. So I enjoyed that little visual. Moving on. Jada Parker defeats Carmen Petrovich. She wins via the Hypnotic, and then post-match, Jada Parker attacked Thea Hale, and Izzy... My bad. Carmen Petrovich ended up making the save. She was about to hit the roundhouse kick, but Jada got out of dodge, and she walked away. Okay, that's fine there. Moving on. So, Ava, she scolds Joe Hendry in her office. She says that this situation between he and Trick Williams has to end. She's tired of all the shenanigans. She knows that Joe Hendry and Trick Williams both aren't going to back down. So she ends up having a conversation with Santino Marella, and they both came to a major agreement. At Battleground, Joe Hendry is going to put his world title on the line against Trick Williams, which is great. This was great. This got a really good reaction, and I love this. This is perfect. If they are serious about this partnership, and both companies should be, then they need to have Joe Hendry lose to Trick Williams and regain the TNA World Championship at either Slammiversary in July, or you could do it at Bound for Glory in October. Either way, I'm fine with it. I would go as far as having Joe Hendry win it back at Bound for Glory and give Trick Williams basically a 5-month run with the TNA World Championship. I think that would be great. That would be really, really good. And that's something that I'm interested in. And hopefully they end up pulling the trigger on that. And they should. Because there's nobody on the heel side in TNA that we want Joe Hendry to face. Nobody. Not anybody from the lame-ass system. Nick Nemeth would be good, but they've already faced before. Mustafa Ali would be good as well, but, we know Joe would win that. Eric Young, fuck off. So, and on the babyface side, you got the second biggest babyface would be Mike Santana. I wasn't going to say the third, because Elijah always gets pretty good reactions as well. But I think they should have Trick Williams go over at Battleground. I think that would be tremendous. Moving on. So we get a vignette from OTM. I thought they were quietly released. This is their second run, and I'm not excited about it. In my opinion, they don't have what it takes, and I think they've done some stuff in TNA, maybe. I don't know. No, my bad. That was Tyson and Tyreek. So, it is what it is. Moving on. So, Wesley made a private call to take out Tony D'Angelo. Probably was talking to Stax or maybe even Myron Reed, but probably Stax. Moving on. So, Inamura was backstage. He knows that he disappointed Josh Briggs earlier on in the night. He said tonight was his final NXT appearance. He's heading back to Pro Wrestling Noah. Inamura wishes he could have been a better tag team partner for Josh Briggs. Inamura says goodbye to his friend. Brooks Jensen starts poking fun at Josh Briggs. Brooks Jensen suggests that the problem has always been Josh Briggs, not his tag team partners. This was okay. Now, Josh Briggs has been around for about a good 5 years. I know they turned 205 Live into just like a rep spot, kind of like how just a show where guys could get reps, kind of like how Level Up was, and that's what 205 was. I believe that happened in 2019 or 2020. I'm going to say 2020. So basically, Josh Briggs has been there for a good 5 years. And to be honest with you, I don't see Josh Briggs or Brooks Jensen being successful on the main roster. I just don't. So I wouldn't be shocked in the next round of cuts, whenever that is, if Brooks and Jensen don't get let go. I hope I'm wrong, but you never know. Moving on. So the No Quarter Catch crew, they're celebrating in the back. Charlie says that the NQCC has to help him prepare for Obafemi at Battleground. Myles Borne reminds Charlie that he won the Battle Royal. Charlie says it's got to be him that represents the group. Oba then shows up. Oba gives Myles his congratulations for winning the Battle Royal. The ruler is impressed. Myles Borne says that the title match will be his at Battleground. Myles suggests that Obafemi should have a match with Charlie Dempsey next week. And he says, after all, Charlie did say he was going to stretch out the big meathead and make him cry for mercy, which is kind of funny. Obafemi says that he's done with triple threat matches, and he'll see Charlie Dempsey next week. And then Charlie Dempsey says that Myles Borne has wonderful selective hearing. So good stuff there. Good stuff. I'm interested in this. So, yeah. Moving on, then we get a Chase U vignette. And basically it's just Kel Dixon and Uriah Connors giving Mr. Chase a fashion makeover. He's trying to go in like some new sweats and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Who cares? Moving on. We're going to have the official contract signing between Joe Hendry and Trick Williams next week. That should be fun. And Tony D is going to take on Wesley. All right, cool. Main event of the evening. Jordynne Grace defeats Julia. And she's now the new number one contender. She's going to be facing Stephanie Vacker at Battleground, which should kick ass. This was a really good TV match. This was okay. It was a good test of power versus speed and agility. So really good stuff. Julia losing, to me, was the right decision, obviously, because her and Roxanne Perez have been featured on the main roster for the past couple of weeks, and this only makes sense. So I could see her and Roxanne Perez on Raw, and I think, that'll be fine. That's just how I see it. Post-match, Stephanie Vacker came down the ramp, and her and Jordynne Grace had a stare down, and that was the end of the show. So overall, NXT was pretty decent. I thoroughly enjoyed the show. I liked Myles Borne winning. That was great. Elijah returning. That was great. He got a really good reaction. That was good. Trick Williams and Joe Hendry for Battleground. That is great. And I think that's going to be the main event. Clearly, the co-main event is probably going to be Stephanie Vacker and Jordynne Grace. And the opener of that show will probably be Obafemi and Myles Borne. But I am hoping for Battleground that NXT does decide to pull the trigger on Trick Williams going over Joe Hendry at Battleground. So that way this can be an actual feud, and you have Joe Hendry either win the title back at either Slammiversary or Bound for Glory. Preferably Bound for Glory. That's what I would do. But all in all, NXT was pretty okay for the most part. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.